This clip is brought to you by the legendary Tasty Pastry. 20 grams of protein, 5 grams of net carbs, and 0 sugar. Better than any protein bar out there. Tastes amazing. Enjoy this clip.
I think it's an interesting thing that with fame, people interpret things that he doesn't say. So I got an old Poliquin guy who's a good friend of mine who's, I posted him squatting. And he's like, oh, Ben Patrick squats? I'm like, yeah, he squats a ton. And he's got other guys that, so he had his D1 high school athletes and he showed me videos of them. He's like, I just don't put that out because the narrative now is knees over toes guy. And it's like, people message him and say like, well, do you know anything about the shoulder? Of course he knows things about the shoulder, but now they think he's just knees over toes guy. So in some ways that's where I come in. I'm like, yeah, I can do a whole shoulder. Like I've rehabbed so many shoulders, but the ATG system or the Ben Patrick system is known as the knees over toe. Yeah, but
there's
that's
shoulder
for that
work in there.
There's
though.
a ton of shoulder work. Exactly.
Yeah.
So speaking, we'll probably do some more rotator cuff after. So this is actually a great Charles story, which is, you know what a Cuban press is?
I believe I know what
Yes.
one is, yes.
Okay.
I probably do it incorrectly, but
Yeah,
yes.
again, but a Cuban press, the story is Charles actually invented it, which this is the story so far as I know, is that he had a guy that was like squat big, bench big, lift big, remedial work. I'm not doing rotator cuff. I'm not doing calf work. I'm not doing any remedial work. Just give me the big lifts. Let's go. And he was trying to get the guy to do remedial work. And he was like, oh, there's something that the Cuban weightlifting team is doing. You're always selling. He's like, the guy's like, oh, the Cuban weightlifting team's doing? Yeah, it's a secret exercise. Let me teach you. So a Cuban press. So a Cuban press, if you see it or whatever, it's pretty much a muscle snatch just without the legs. So a muscle snatch. So from my understanding, the rotator cuff is actually a fast twitch muscle. But most people don't even, so why are we doing 4-second lower and high rep rotate? Most people don't even have a rotator cuff. So you first have to hypertrophy the thing, build it up before you can go, there we go. That's a dumbbell Cuban press. Pretty much, kind of. That's a Cuban rotation more, whatever. But if he's going to go
like
all the
an
way.
upright row into a rotation.
It's an upright two into rotation. So that's kind of a Cuban press.
Into like an L.
Yeah. So it's more flowy, but that's a pretty good rendition.
It also looks a little bit similar to like dumbbell cleans.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that it's fundamentally a muscle snatch, which is really, you're not dropping into it or catching into it. So really like the fastest movement for rotator cuff is a snatch. But most people don't have the ability. So that's the pinnacle of rotator cuff work, but we regress it. And that's the other genius, I think, of Charles Poliquin and ATG and Ben Patrick is like the magic of regression. So everyone can do rotator cuff work, but you get a weightlifter in that their rotator is pretty good. We can muscle snatch or do a whole bunch of other stuff. So, baseball player, they go so fast forward. So you can only go as fast as you can slow down. So the rotator cuff is the opposite, the antagonist to internal rotation of the humerus. So if you really increase your rotator cuff strength, everything internal humerus, so that's bench pressing and any throwing motion and any punching motion actually gets better. So that's a magical, and we'll get to that. That's actually a later point in the ATG special.
So Power Project family, I hope you enjoyed this clip. We are on Discord and Reddit. We're trying to talk to you guys and build a community down there. So the links are in the bio. But remember, like, comment, subscribe, share this out with people so you can share the wealth of health. As cheesy as that fucking sounds. Peace.